everyone, my name is Sandra Domingo and I'm here today to talk to you about the authentic assessment. So, I'm quite excited to share my learnings with you and to be able to discuss what is authentic assessment. So, today we were going to answer the two questions, which are what is authentic assessment and why it is important. So, are you ready to listen? And are you ready to learn? If yes, let's now discover and explore what is authentic assessment. But before we define what is authentic assessment, let us just define first what is authentic and what is assessment. So what is authentic? Authentic means original. At the same time, it's real and genuine. So, authentic describe it's confirming to an original so as to reproduce essential features. And now, what is assessment? Assessment is a process of gathering and discussing information in order to develop a deep understanding of what students know, understand, and can do with their knowledge as a result of educational experiences. So, now what is authentic assessment? Authentic assessment. So, well, there are few definitions of authentic assessment. According to John Mueller, it is a form of assessment in which students through demonstrates meaningful application of essential knowledge and skills. While in Richard Stegens, 1987, state that performance assessment call upon examinee to demonstrate specific skills and competencies that is applied the skills and knowledge they have mastered. Therefore, authentic assessment is defined as a process of determining the level of achieved learning of the student through demonstrate meaningful application of essential knowledge and skills. So, it means authentic assessment is that student abilities and knowledge are put the test in real-world setting through creative activities. So, student progress is measured in the way that is relevant to the abilities that will be needed of them once they finish their courses. So, do you understand what is authentic assessments? If not yet, once again. So, when it comes in authentic assessment, we defined as an activity or a form of assessment which make us a real-world application or there be an actual application of the skill learned from the lesson and there is a real area or a real situation where they can use the skills which they acquired. So, in short, it is a method of evaluating student progress without the use of standardized tests. So, teachers use assessment to examine how effectively the students not only grasp in certain topics but also how they can apply what they've learned to a variety of situations and problems. So now, let's move on in the examples of authentic assessment. What are the different examples of authentic assessment? So, here are the following examples of authentic assessment. First is the portfolios. So, this is a remarkable collection of student work as well as in-depth assessment of how they apply their information. It reveals distinct aspects in student development, allowing teacher to measure the student progress and performance. So, students reflect on their goals and engage in some self-assessment as they prepare their respective portfolios. So the second is role-playing. So this is a sort of experiential learning in which the student takes on her role of a certain characters or role in well-defined learning situation. Role-play is similar to simulation games assign students to specific roles. So there are possible that learners will be asked to emulate personalities in unusual situations. So the third is the memo. So it uses first person point of view to convey information on specific subject. Students gather information and then use their imagination to weave together text from various angles. They can sometimes write in a voice of a real or imagine historical figure for a real or imaginary audience. Next is presentation. So this is the most popular technique of authentic assessment. Through presentation, the students have the opportunity to present their works and validate ideas in the mixed audience such as classmates, teachers, and parents. So throughout this presentation, the student confidence and communication abilities are developed and grow. Next is case study. As a teacher, you can have students to create case studies based on the real life situation relating to the topic. So the student must create a variety of close-ended questions and open-ended research questions, as well as collect real-time data from members of the research population through various methods such as surveys, interviews, and observations. Next is proposal. A proposal is well-researched document that demonstrates how student will address certain issues. The student must define his or her ideas, connect them to the particular aims and objectives, and justify approaches to the employed to solve problem in the situation. Next is report. So student can observe real life situation relating to a subject issues and produce a report on their findings within a certain time frame. So aside from this example, there are other examples of authentic assessment. These are journals, writing instrument or laboratories activities, writing stories, submitting original projects, performance certain skills and competencies, and so on. So these are the examples of authentic assessment. You observe that in authentic assessment, the knowledge acquired through learning by doing. So due to logical comprehension of the process and product, it is difficult to erase from the learner's mind because it is learning by doing. So what do you think? Why authentic assessment is important? So authentic assessment determines a learner's true level of learning. It is usually based on predefined criterion because it is criterion based in numerical evaluations rather than norm reference. There is a less room for competition in the class. Learners understand what is expected from his or her, and as we facilitator can highlight the problems that he or she experienced in during the evaluations process. So it offers the student the ability to improve on their own. Teachers have the opportunity to make them or learners appreciate real life applications through learning by doing. So because they will be assessed on how they learn, the outcomes of these sort of evaluations reduce learner fears of testing. So The authentic assessment are more probably engaging and motivating for learners since they entail real-world tasks. So, in short, authentic assessment yields better result for teachers as well as to the students because it is the real process of learning rather than simply marking off the gain from textbooks. So it verifies that students have acquired the materials and can apply it as needed.